So, hello friends, welcome back to the Factories, the company of facts. So, in today's part number 3 of World War 3, we are going to see the fall of Hitler and the end of the Third Reich. For nearly 6 years, the world had been consumed by the war. Millions of soldiers had fought across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Entire cities had been reduced to rubble. The once unstoppable Nazi war machine was now collapsing from every direction. The Soviet Red Army was advancing from east. American, British, Canadian forces were pushing in from the west. Germany was surrounded, and deep beneath of the street of Berlin, one man refused to believe the war was lost. The man was Adolf Hitler. The final chapter of Nazi Germany had begun. Chapter number 1, The Road to the Berlin. In early 1945, Germany was no longer fighting for victories. It was fighting for survival. After the successful D-Day landings in June 1944, Allied forces steadily liberated France, Belgium, and Luxembourg. In East, the Soviet Union launched the massive offensive and that destroyed German defenses across Poland. Every week, German territory became smaller, fuel was running out, factories had been heavily bombed, railways were destroyed. Once one of the world's most powerful real forces could barely defend German cities. Many experienced soldiers had already been killed. To replace them, Germany began recruiting teenagers and early men into the military. Some soldiers were barely 16-year-old, others were veterans from the First World War, now in their 50s and 60s. The situation had become desperate. Still, Hitler refused to surrender. He believed Germany could somehow reverse the war through the determination alone. Chapter number 2, Life inside Berlin. As the Soviet artillery moved closer, Berlin transformed into the battlefield. Air raid sirens echoed through the cities almost every day. Buildings collapsed under the constant bombing. Electricity failed in many neighborhoods. Food became extremely scarce. Families spent nights hiding inside underground shelters. Water supplies were interrupted. Hospitals overflowed with wounded civilians and soldiers. Children who had once attended school now helped clear rubble from streets. The capital of Nazi Germany had become the city struggling simply to survive, yet propaganda broadcasts continued to promise victory. Many civilians already knew the truth. The war was almost over. Chapter number 3, The Hitler's Bunker. As the Berlin collapsed above the ground, Hitler moved into the Führerbunker, a reinforced underground bunker beneath the rich chancellery. The bunker consisted of concrete rooms connected by narrow hallways. It became the final headquarters of Nazi government. Inside were Hitler's senior military officers, secretaries, doctors, and close associates. Day after day, Hitler received reports from generals. Most of news was a distrust. The entire army had been destroyed. Cities had fallen. Soviet troops were only kilometers away. Despite overwhelming evidence, Hitler continued issuing orders for military units that either no longer existed or were too weak to carry out his commands. Several generals privately admitted that Germany had already lost the war, but few dared to challenge him directly. Inside bunker, the atmosphere became increasingly tense. The sound of Soviet artillery could be heard even through the thick concrete walls. Everyone knew the end was approaching. Chapter number 4, The Battle of Berlin. On April 16, 1945, the Soviet Union launched its final offensive against Berlin. More than 2 million Soviet soldiers, supported by thousands of tanks and aircraft, advanced toward the German capital. It was one of the largest military operations in European history. German Defenders fought fiercely. Street after street became battlefields. Bridges were destroyed. Buildings caught fire. Sniper occupied rooftops. Tanks fought at extremely close range through the narrow city streets. Civilians found themselves trapped between the advancing armies. The fighting was brutal. Every block of Berlin came at triple cost. By late April, Soviet troops had surrounded the city. Escape was almost impossible. The Third Reich was only day away from collapse. Deep underground, Hitler remained inside his bunker. Above him, Berlin was being destroyed. Outside, the Red Army was only a few hundred meters away. The man who had once dreamed of ruling Europe now faced the unavoidable reality. His empire had fallen, but the most dramatic moment of World War II was still to come. In the next chapter, we will witness Hitler's final hours, Germany's unconditional surrender, and how the war shifted to the Pacific, leading to the atomic bombing that changed the history forever. See you in part number 4 of World War II. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.